Hello everybody, it is the Baron here and we are back for some Tavern Master. So we first looked at this in a pre-early access version that I got given. And it's now February 2022 and it's time to have a look at the release version as it stands here in February. Go through some points of review and actually give it some kind of rating. Highlight a few things that it needs or it's doing really well. And if you like what you're seeing and you've even got this game and you want some hints and tips, etc., then I have a separate video available on my Patreon that goes a bit more into depth of the features. But this video here, this is literally a review video. So without further ado, let's get on with that. So first up, One More Turn. So my One More Turn review is a 5-star review out of how often do you find that you just don't go to bed, or, you know, you want to do one more little goal, before you turn it off, and then, hey, you do another little goal, and another little goal. We all know that feeling. So how does Tavern Master rate on that? Well, it does actually have a turn system as such, whereby at the end of each day it stops, and then you gotta press a button to start the next day. So there is kind of like a turn system. I have found myself just pressing that, oh, go on one more day. Just go on one more day. More than I thought that I would. However, it does, mainly due to some design options that are currently in the game. It lacks some goals that are almost like a self-imposed restriction. We'll come into that in a moment. But there is a goal lacking issue here. And for that alone, it's going to lose a star. So I am giving this a 4 out of 5 stars for One More Turn. Next up, visuals. Now, let me just make one thing clear. I don't need a game to have, hyper realistic, clothing and people and armor and trees. That's not what I classify as good visuals. Good visuals are, and this includes the whole GUI interface and everything else like that, is, am I able to see everything that I need to see? And while I'm playing, do I feel like, oh, I can't see something properly, or I can't reach something, or that looks awful. One of the things that used to be missing, as you can see that I've currently got turned on now. So if I zoom in for a moment here, you can see that above the little people, there's these little blobs. Now, that's something you can turn on. Not on that one, on here. Show the special customers. Now, they've added that, which is fantastic. Because previously, it would tell you that you'd be getting like various rarities of customers, but you couldn't tell by how they were dressed necessarily that, oh yeah, that person is, richer than another person, and you're getting a different sort of like level of clientele. So it's fantastic the fact that they've added that as an option that you can see. All of the menu systems, they navigate really well. You can see what you're going to get easy enough. Your ability to go up and down the various floors that you've built in your hotel, simple. It gives me everything that I want to see, to be honest. I haven't actually found anything where I'm thinking, oh god, if only it had so and so, etc., then I'd be able to visualize better what I need to do. That has not been a factor. If I want to check my placement of something, I've got the option here to show walkable areas. So I can just check pathing. I have to give this a 5 out of 5 for visuals. And as I said, it's not because, if I zoom in, somebody looks hyper realistic. I don't need them to look hyper realistic. I need them to do what I need to get done to play this game. So it's getting a 5 at the start, 5 for visuals for me. Next up is features, depth of the game. So for this, it's a case of how much is there to do in the game. Now, they have added a lot more since my initial review. I can go into some of those features now. So I won't go in depth. I'll do that in a special video. So it's a quick overview of some of the features we have here now. So you've got the full build options. They've added in new artwork for like little fencing, etc. You can put in. You get unlocks of different textures as well. You can use for the floor and walls. Plenty of upgrades of furnishings that you can add, and each one of them will add things like your prestige. Now, prestige is quite special in the fact that prestige will govern how many people basically will turn up. It has a big impact, and it also has a very big impact on events. Now, events have been here since the beginning, and what they are one-off special situations whereby all the clientele that turn up are just from the one event. Nothing else happens in your tavern other than the one event. No regular customers will come in. Nobody will visit your inn and sleep over in the various rooms that you've got. It's just the event for that day. And they will bring a certain amount of guests and give you a reward for having the event. And prestige used to be the big thing that allowed you to actually get access to an event. Is where now you also have foods and unlocking certain recipes. Now, how does that work, you're saying? Well, they've got added another feature, which is quite cool. If I just show you now. So here is a little table where I get adventurers turn up. Like, send adventurers off to gather resources. I got some adventurers here waiting. Like to say, I could do with some more of this type of food, and I get a percentage chance of it being a success or not. I pay them, and off they go to go and get some extra foods, so I can run events. So that's another feature they've added. It's nice. It means that you've got some other cool thing going on. You also have minstrels that you can hire for your various floors. Now, that's a new feature, and what it does is it increases the amount of time a customer will wait before they get angry. When they get angry, they just leave. And one of the features at the moment is the fact that, well, doesn't mean anything. A customer gets angry and leaves, you get on your report how many angry customers you had. It has no bearing on anything. Now, we'll talk about what they should add in a minute. But overall, I mean, they have added a lot more. This used to be in before my previous version as well. The fact that you can add, bedrooms, etc., and have an inn to stay. They got a questing system, which you've got to try and hit certain objectives, and that in turn will unlock various recipes and things for you, which is cool. You've got two menu systems now. So you've got the regular menu system that you had in before, but now you've got an event menu system, which allows you to increase the costs of the various event foods. So yeah, I mean, they've added a lot. Of course, you've got your research tech tree that was here before. They've added a lot. However, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't seem finished. Now, they do have a roadmap. I've had a look at their roadmap. They're behind on their roadmap. So a quick covering of what their roadmap says, just so you're aware. So in January, they were supposed to add disasters, better AI, more customers, interactions like axe throwing, playing cards, etc. Well, that's skipped. This is the end of February, and none of those are here yet. February is supposed to be bigger areas to build, weather systems, more optimization, more decorations, deeper systems, whatever that means. And that slipped now. It's got a couple of days maybe to go, but that's over. And next month is supposed to be gardening and making your own recipes, etc. Now, I've had a look at all those, and they're missing some clear and obvious functions that they should be adding to start with. Now, and this comes back to the angry sort of customers, and the fact you pay for a guard, so you can hire a guard. Your guard just sits outside and stops thieves at night. But once you've bought this best equipment, well, that's it. There's no stats. There's no wage alterations. He doesn't get happy. He doesn't get sad. He doesn't have any of the scope that a normal person would have, you know, with these speeds and all the rest of stuff. And that's something easily resolved, as far as I can see. And it's simple. You should have angry customers, and you should add as well rowdy customers. And I think of rowdy customers is if you want to host the pirates or the Vikings, that's going to be a pretty rowdy experience, yeah? So what you should have is something simple whereby, let's just deal with the angry first. So if a customer gets angry, they'll get a little angry thing above their head, and they'll start like making a scene. And then all you have then is your guard, one of your many guards that you now hire, use their walk speed over to walk over and just pacify the customer, which means that they calm down, or they ask them to leave. Yeah? So if the pacify fails, they basically then leave without causing a scene. And no issues whatsoever. You could have it so it fails and there's like a little scuffle between your guard and the Patreon. The Patreon will still leave, even if they win, sort of thing, but your guard will probably become unhappy or dysfunctional for a while, which means other angry customers you're not going to be able to pacify, and you're going to get more angry customers potentially leave. Now, if you get an angry customer become rowdy and, you know, disgruntled, that means, I would have said that every time a waitress goes to serve that person, then the waitress's mood is going to drop because they're dealing with this angry person, yeah, and it's going to make the waitress unhappy. And that allows your guys to have not only sort of like a security rating for how good they are at protecting your site at night versus thieves. You can also then give them a charisma rating for sort of like pacifying customers. You can give them a movement rate sort of thing for how quickly they can get to customers. You've got a lot more options you can give to guards, and you've got angry means something. Because at the moment, having angry customers, if I go to the end of the day, rating is going to appear in a moment. It's going to tell me how many angry customers I had because I couldn't get them their food or their drinks on time or whatever. But there's no negative. No negative whatsoever. I could have the whole place being angry. Angry customers. I actually had none today. But it doesn't even impact your prestige or anything. So that seems like a function that they haven't fleshed out, and it's not even on their radar. So for features and depth, I think this has got a potential to have a 5 out of 5. With all the stuff that they've currently got on their roadmap, I think this is going to be great. As it stands right now, I'm kind of giving it like a 3.5. And I don't do halves, so I'm going to have to down this to a 3, I'm afraid. You're missing functions that you've promised should be here by now. The roadmap has passed. And not only that, you've got to the point whereby you're missing half functions you seem to be implementing. So 3 out of 5 for that one for me for the moment. Okay, next up. How clean is the game? As in, if it gets a 0 out of 5, it means it's full of game-crashing bugs that just make it unplayable. If it gets a 5 out of 5, then it means that there's no bugs, no issues, and the game is running perfect. So, are there any bugs or issues? Well, one, I'm going to call it a bug, because if it's actually working as intended, then it's broken. And that is the only thing I found so far, which is annoying, is in these events, these numbers of guests and the reward you get are not the numbers you get when you first start playing. It seems to be the first time you reload the game from a save, they all double. And then after that, at various points of playing, I've actually had them go up again. And just to try and give you a clue as to what I mean by this being an issue is, the first thing is when I saved the game and left it after my initial day one, of playing, I had an event lined up that I was, fully ready to cater for. Everything was fine. So, of course, then I reloaded the game to play on my second playthrough day, and that event had now doubled, and I couldn't achieve the event. That makes no sense. I'd already booked the event. Everything was fine. The people had said, "Oh, there's 80 people visiting." I'm going to go, "Yeah, okay, we could, cater for you." And then you load up and 160 people visit. And then they complain. And you go, "Well, that doesn't make any sense. You booked for 80. Yeah? So either, if it's working as intended and it's supposed to increase as time goes by, then anything you've got booked cannot increase, yeah? That's not how life works, yeah? Things don't change in the middle, and then you complain to the person that's hosting your party because you've decided to notice twice as many people. That's just ridiculous. So that's an issue, but it's also an issue with regards to it scaling the way it does. In fact, there's no difficulty settings in this game. It's just, it is what it is. And this floor you can see right now, my ground floor, is the maximum my barman can cope with. If I add one more table or one more chair, I'll start getting angry customers because my barman cannot actually produce any more beer. So then some of this space you'll see here will have to be taken up like with a second bar on the same floor to try and serve more customers. But then more of my space is taken up with another bar. So I don't actually gain much more space. So I'm nearly at basically the maximum I can have on this floor. I could squeeze in a few more people, as I said, but then I lose space as well. And this floor here is, I can't remember what it is. It's just over 100 people, just. So what you're saying is, well, you can only ever maximum build 4 floors, and you want to have at least one floor where you've got, an inn of some kind. So you're only ever really going to get 300 or so seating if the whole of your place is just chairs. There's no room for clever designs, nice features, using like little balconies or things so that you can make a nice looking tavern. Because you don't want everything to be just a box. Yeah, it's just a box, layer on layer on layer, all the way up, maximize space, no fluff, no features, just to try and have it so that you can get your ultimate goal, which obviously is to get the king and queen to come along. And that, you've got to cater for 300 people. 302. Now, they have listed on their roadmap a bigger playing area. And that's fine. If that happens and it gives you enough room to cater for 300 odd people and actually have some ability to make different designs, different layouts, then yeah, I'm happy with that. But as it stands, the game at the moment, I have to class this as a bug or feature not working properly. So it's getting a 4 out of 5 for me. It's because of half-finished things, or the way you've got things, like I said, whereby you're booking events and then when you load the game back up, that event is changed, then that's not actually any good anymore. That's got to be resolved. So let's get a 4 out of 5. So the last thing for me then, really, before we get onto my complete overall and my value, is replayability. So replayability really comes down to things like, does it have multiple difficulty modes? Does it have lots of features for you to have, like different maps? It's a game where I can build wherever I want, so I can put down walls and stairs and design the look of my building. So as a creative design game, you need to allow your audience, your players, to be creative, to create really, really beautiful looking taverns, clever designs. And because of the limitations of the systems that I just talked about, you can't really do that. I can't get creative because the moment I get creative, I end up impacting my ability to have events. So at the moment, my replayability is none. There's no difficulty modes. The achievements can all be achieved on one playthrough, linear playthrough. There's no reason once I've played this through and, you know, got the king and queen here to ever turn it on again. That needs to change. So at the moment, this is a 1 out of 5. It's a 1 playthrough. You can do everything you need to do once. And that severely impacts the value of this game. There is plenty of option here for them to add more. Just maps. That would be great. This, you know, whether it's going to be in the desert or wherever. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, things whereby the area you can build is going to be more challenging, like next to a river or something, and hopefully when they give you a larger play area and it allows you to be more creative and you have more decoration to be creative with, then yeah, you can, that'll change. Hopefully it'll become a 2 or a 3 because I'm going to have different ideas I'm going to want to explore and come back to. At the moment, it's a 1 out of 5. Right, value. This is it. This is the big one. This is the one whereby I decide whether or not you should buy it. Now, when I did my first review, I gave it a high rating because I had no idea what price tag that they were going to bring this out at. I was thinking in my head, if this is like a 7 UK pounds or, you know, around about a $10 US price tag, then this is a great game. Great little game, good laugh, good fun. But it's like £12 or £11.99, which I don't know what that means. What's that, like $15, $16? And as it stands right now, with just 1 playthrough, no replayability, it's not good enough. That's not enough hours worth of content for that money. Now, it's not an expensive game, I give you that, but it's too expensive for the amount of hours of play there is. As I said, this should be an under $10 or max $10 game because of the amount of hours of play there is. If they add more features, which by the looks of it they are adding more. I don't mean fluff. I don't mean decorations. I don't mean like, you know, people playing cards and stuff. I mean replayability. You need to add more hours of entertainment to your game. You want something whereby you've got your audience playing, you know, hundreds of hours maybe because they're doing different designs, trying different things, doing different maps, doing some scenarios or challenges, doing things whereby in the achievements, you clearly can't do all of the achievements on 1 playthrough. So it's going to be like, oh yeah, you know, get all the way through to the end where it's going to be, but without sort of like, you know, selling wine or wherever it's going to be. Then, yeah, that's worthwhile. Or how about like an in-only achievement? You never sell any beer, you just have like, you know, rooms and food. I don't know. There's other things that need to be done to give that longevity to make it worth that money. So for me at the moment, for value, it's getting a 3 out of 5. So my overall recommendation on people to purchase this game is, it's not bad, it's not expensive, it's got features planned that make it worth purchasing, especially if you want to like run a little tavern, medieval tavern. But as it stands, with a lack of replayability, it's not getting any more than a 3. Because once you've played it through once and you've achieved all of the events and you've ticked off your achievements in Steam, you'll never ever load this again. It's put in the bin because there'll be nothing else to do. And I don't think it's going to take you that long to do all of those things. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed my review. Of course, this is my thoughts, my comments. This is the way I think about the game at the moment. If you feel differently, especially if you've got more information about things that are going to change, then please post them in the comments. I'd love to read your views. So this is my view, my opinion only. And later on, when more stuff is out, I will come back to this game and I will do another review. Maybe sort of like, yeah, April, May, something like that. And I'll do an update. And who knows, maybe it'll get a 4 or even a 5-star rating. But as it stands right now, it's a 3. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been Baron Tormunda. I'll see you all next time.